Hey YouTube, we are Fun Decks R Us, and this is our first video. It's going to be an X-Saber deck, and then we're going to have other fun decks and other meta decks on the channel. So we'll just keep subscribing and then you'll see more decks. But we'll start right now. The first monster is 3 Faltro. Faltro's busted. That's all you need to know. You have 2 monsters, especially some of that. Get anything back, any X-Saber back from the graveyard. He's kind of like your Shogun. Yeah, Shogun Sheen. And then next card is Bogart. He's your marauding captain. He summons any X-Saber from the from your hand when he's normal summoned. And in this deck we use him for a different reason, and we'll explain that later. And then we got 3 Dark Soul, or Exibel Philistine, or Philistine. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's German, but 3 Dark Soul. He's your searcher set torrential search card. That's all you really need to know. 1 Ember's Blade. Most people run 3. We run 1. It's a giant rat. Get whatever you want after that. And then Regigura. Regigura, it helps you do the loop to minus their hand. It's always a good play if you it depends on what matchup you're facing. Not very good against Dark Worlds. And then it'd be funny to do it against Windup, so I was like, yeah, me too. And then we got 1 Pastule. Pastule is a good first turn set. And then basically, oh yeah, it's also good to get off Ember's Blade. And then it's good for Bogart Knight. Get this, go into Barkion.
Can't.
Oh yeah, you can't. I forgot about that. Alright. Full Helm Knight. It's basically good to leave out there if you need to protect something, because it negates 1 attack. And if you destroy a defense position monster, you can special summon 1 X-Saber from the graveyard. We mainly use it because it's a level 3 tuner. And the 3 Tour Guide of the Underworld. This is a very good card. Oh, we'll put that out there too. It's a Sangan. Alright, Sangan searches out basically anything in your deck except Faltro and Bogart. Then we'll get into the tour guides later. Spells 2 Power Duality. It's good for setup. And just good late game if you already have field control, just to get an extra card. And then 2 Mystic. It's good to knock out the back row. In this deck, 2 is perfect number. You don't want to have more than 2. Kind of clogs the hand. Heavy Storm. Staple. Book of Moon is sort of a staple. It's a good card. Dark Hole, staple. Reborn, staple. Pot of Avarice. You do synchro and exceed a lot, so you want to have stuff to return, and so you don't deck out, I guess. Even though I don't think you'd ever deck out in this deck. And then Foolish. You want to be able to put your tuners in the graveyard for Fultro's effect, and then put Regigura in there so you can do the loop. Traps. 2 warning. Judgment. Sullen Brigade. Stops everything. 2 Boundless. Trap Hole. It's really good now since there's no priority. Hits Dark Arm Dragon and Red MDs. Compulse. It's good against anything in the format. And Zector is my favorite. And this thing just falls off. Then Phoenix Wind Blast. It's a tech. It's good if you have Full Helm Knight or Regigura in your hand. You just set that. They summon a big boss monster. You just send it to the top of the deck. They have to draw it next turn. It's really good against BLS if you're facing a deck that doesn't run very many lights, like how some people just work it in there with their effect veilers. then they usually can't get it again next turn. They'd have to wait. So it's good putting dead cards back on top of the deck. Mirror Force, kind of a staple, I guess. And then 2 Gundam's Eco. When you have a face-up X-Saber, special summon 2, makes your spamming go off a lot easier. And then 2 Starlight Road. One of them's for Trunchel. You don't like getting Trunchel. And the other one's for Heavy Storm, because you do have a lot of back row in this deck, and you don't want to get heavied and like lose the game because you have no more protection. And then Stardust just helps you out. Alright, on to the extra deck. Ha! 500 Ray. That's just so you just put it face up, people think you're running dragons. Alright, 2 Invoker, and this is a really good card despite what people think, and I'll explain it later. Acid Golem stomps over everything. Zenmain's protection card, and it's probably the best rank 3 ever. Actually, this might be the best rank 3 ever. This is really good with Tour Guide and the Barkion if you get it out. Utopia for 16. This guy is busted. You just basically pump out 2 Falcho, use their effects, Synchro, and then use Falcho, go into this, bring back Gotams if you have it in the graveyard, and he's just a big beater. And then you can pop your Dark Soul and pop their monster, and you get plus off of that, and then you plus because you destroy a monster. A big monster or spell. And then 2 Gotams. He's really easy to get on this deck. It's probably one of your main synchros you go for, because he can minus the hand with his effect, so you don't have to run into Gores or anything like that. Soul's only 1 because you're only running 2 Full Helm in this build, and 3 Bogart, but you usually never get Bogart Full Helm first turn. He's good minus from hand. Is also a good target for late game if you use souls already. Stars Dragon, mainly for Starlight Road. Only running 1 just because you don't have to summon Stardust. Colossal Fighter, you run some warriors, and samurais are pretty stupid too. And then Barkion, if you can see the card. Alright. So basically, I'm going to explain why you run tour guides in this deck. So you basically, if you get tour guide and Falcho in your hand, you just laugh at their face, because you go tour guide, special summon from the deck, then you Xyz for where is he? Right here, this guy. Then you summon Invoker, and you detach to special summon Bogart in defense mode from your deck, because it has to be in defense mode with Invoker's effect. And then you go Falcho, and then you usually get Foolish, so you have the tuner in the graveyard. And it's also a really good combo late game if you're kind of getting your ass whooped. You just go Invoker, or Tour Guide Invoker, and no one sees it coming first turn, so it's a really good first turn combo. And then if you get the right hand, it's a very specific hand, you can loop them almost immediately. It just takes a 1 turn setup. And then they have no hand, and then you win the game. And then it's also good if you can get the level 3 in the graveyard to just go Gotham's, tribute. Or if you can somehow, if you have a E-Call, let him die, next turn get 1 E-Call, bring him back, Xyz. Pretty busted. That's why we're in Tour Guide in the deck. If you like this deck, just like the video, comment on your what you think is good in the deck, what you think is good about the Invoker combo, and I'll reply to comments, and then we'll be posting more fun decks and stuff as we build decks, I guess.